Hey everybody, welcome back to another market overview show with me as the host and our good friend Steve Payne here coming in with all the data to kind of give us another insight on what's going on in the market. Look, we're coming into November here, and you would have thought that our real estate market might have slowed down some. But we are still highly producing real estate out there. Inventory is still low. People are still buying. Loans are still doing great. I just heard, Steve, the other day that the loans got dropped again. The interest rates on loans. Did you hear that?
Yes. 2.25.
2.25. I'm glad I held out. So the point is this, guys, is our job today, me and Steve, is really to go through the three main counties around us: Madison County, Limestone County, and Morgan County, just to kind of keep you guys up to date with what's going on in the market, from inventory, where we were last month, where we are this month, where we were a year ago, and also to talk about volume, how much is being sold, and are there any indicators that should make us be nervous? And so I'm not seeing them, but there again, we're going to share the document and we're going to go through it together. Steve.
Yes, sir.
Glad to have you back on here. Look, we hit 2 months consistently this time.
Yeah. Nice.
So man, we were just having a lot of fun talk before we went on the video here about land development. And, but I was just thinking about this as I was talking. Land development is also like it's a filler for the need of what us residential investors are finding difficult, right? Like, there's not enough inventory. So land developers say, well, look, I'll just go make more inventory.
Yeah.
But some areas are allowing that to happen where others aren't. Like Madison, you can't build a subdivision in Madison right now. It's restricted, right? Like whatever's in the pipeline is only thing that can come through. Other than that, no more new permits are being issued for new development. Now, you can go build a single house, but not a new development. So, but like some of the surrounding areas where we still have a lot of land, it's still piping hot for filling that need. It means people got to move a little bit further out, but, that's the way it works.
I think we mentioned this last month. I talked to a lady a realtor that specializes in selling land in Madison County. And she said it's getting really scarce. It's
land.
Yeah.
Well, and it's overpriced. Well, I say it's overpriced. It's not overpriced if someone will pay for it. I was looking at some lots. I guess, what was it, last year? I was thinking about building a house, and like lots that I would have not have thought would have been more than 40 or 50,000. They were asking like $80,000, $90,000, and it wasn't even cleared. It was just raw lots, and I was like, what? What's that?
Must be a big lot.
I mean, they were kind of big lots, and they were in Madison, and they backed up to what's the park, the hiking trail in Madison up there? What's that called? Greenway. So it backed up to the Greenway, so there was no building going to be built behind it. And it was at the end of a cul-de-sac, and I thought, that's what I want. Like, that's perfect. But there again, I mean, I just couldn't have fathomed paying almost $100,000 for just the lot, and then you add in $100 a square foot for, let's just say, a 3,000 square foot house. Now you're $400,000, $450,000, all that into it. And could you really sell it to get it back,
Yeah.
Well, that's true. But look, I wouldn't be selling it right now. If I sold it, it'd be once the kids go to college and I decide to move to Key West and live on a boat. So
Yeah.
All right, Steve. Well, look, hey, everybody, let's dig into Madison County. Let me share my screen, and let's jump right into this Madison County. Steve, you see my screen?
It's still loading.
It's still loading.
Yeah, it says, there it is.
All right. So the first thing we have on the screen here is Madison County, September to October's data. And just so everybody's on the same page, I know we've had a lot of new members come on board, so I want to kind of give you an idea of what we do with this. For those of you that have seen it, you kind of understand this data chart, but for those of you that haven't, if you look over here at current period, That is for last month. So that's for October. If you look at 1 year ago, then that would be October 2019. And then you look at, where's it at? September. Oh, that was September, and this is October. Sorry.
Right.
Same point. So the top one is September, current period of this month, September, a year ago in September, and then we've got October. So this shows us September we were 780 in quantity sold. In October we were 724, but a year ago we were 647. Not to try to confuse you if it's your first time watching this, but to just give you an idea, Steve has it laid out September, October for each county. And then inside each bracket, you look at the current month for this 2020 year, and then a year ago, 2019. So, all right, Steve, so let's dig into Madison. So from September to October, we did have a few less sales and less volume.
Yeah. We went from 780 in September to 724.
Yeah.
Quantity for the entire, and this is just residential. If you look at that line that starts with statistics for the area, that's Madison County, RE, which is real estate, and in the date range. You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then the grouping, let's see, a single family. So this is just single families, doesn't include, I used to include condos and stuff like that, but I think single families is what most people focus on.
Yes. But it's not including fourplexes, triplexes.
No, correct.
Okay, just the single family world. So what do you think it was from September to October that created the dip?
Oh, well, I mean, we're entering the holidays, I believe. That's pretty customary. Like, actually, last year it went up, though, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, both of them have gone up from last year. September from a year ago, it went up. September or October from a year ago, it went up. Medium sales price actually went up from September to October. And quantity went down, which that's why I'm confused with this data and I'm trying to process it, because we're showing September to October, we had less sales. Obviously, less sales equals less volume. But the median sales price went up. And the available inventory, the active quantity active right here, is less than it was in September. So we have less inventory, higher price per median, but we sold less and we had less volume.
Right. I'm guessing it was the surge in coronavirus, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Because what was it? June, July, August, September. August and September, we had we grew.
Right.
Now, explain this one to me, Steve. Because if we look at active quantity, 1,623 total properties on the market in September. We have 1,567 in October, but it says 2.2 and then 2.1 here. Wouldn't this be less? Because it's taken the average available inventory, 2.2 months, based on what the amount that's being sold.
Right. If you divide the inventory by the quantity sold.
Yeah, I'm with you now. I don't know why I didn't think about that. Okay, that makes sense. Still, 2 months of inventory is low.
Oh, man. It's been like this all year, too.
It has been like that all year. It has been.
And the shocker to me is that now Morgan County is in the twos.
Is it? Well, look, we'll go down to Morgan County next. So our consistency, our outlook on Madison is, I mean, the medium sales price obviously tells me things are still moving up. Available inventory says prices are not going to be going down anytime soon. There's just not enough inventory. And then the volume, I mean, that's what we got to hit here. What? Increase, decrease, 77. No, from last month to this month, it did drop. You're talking, what is that, 60? So 9%. We had a 9% drop, roughly estimated, 9% drop in quantity sold.
Right.
So there again, that's why we do these monthly, guys, because then next month, let's see what November looks like, and does that quantity sold drop even more? Here's something that I think everybody should pay attention to, though. Just because inventory's low, median home price is going up, if quantity sold keeps going down, then that means we're overpriced.
Or there's not enough inventory.
If quantity sold keeps going down, two factors, I'll agree with that with you, Steve. It means there's just not enough inventory, so they can't buy it as much, and it could be because they can't afford it. You know, I was talking to a seasoned developer Monday, 40 plus years in the development game, and he does all kinds of stuff, commercial, resorts, subdivisions, and he's down in Florida, and he told me he has 3 development projects of over 150 house subdivisions going in, and they're all 1,600 units and below. And he said something to me that rang a bell for me. He said, Zach, look, where we are right now in the market, we're going to start to find a crest to where the affordability index is just pushing out, and affordable housing is going to be the next big push. People are going to be like, man, I can't buy that 2,200 square foot house. I need a brand new 1,500 square foot house. And a lot of these builders out there just aren't building those, you know, because they know, well, they used to, if you remember, Steve, they were always building between like that 13 and 17. Then when the market came back around, they started pushing that to 18, then 2, then 21, then 22, because they get more money per house, and building was easy to get. So they could sell these larger houses. But he was telling me, he was like, Zach, keep your eye on it, affordable housing. He's like, that's going to be the next big need in the market. So
I agree with that.
That was great advice from him. So,
yeah.
All right. So Madison's still plugging along. I definitely want to check this at next month, see how this quantity sold's panning out. I mean, if that keeps dropping, I will start raising red flags for Madison. But all right, let's look at limestone.
Okay.
So limestone, boom, look at there. 250 to 216 from month over to month, year over to year. I mean, it's doing amazing. I mean, it's doing amazing. Could you imagine that? 80% growth from year over to year, from October this year to October last year. 80%.
Uh-huh.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Volume more than doubled. Oh, well, almost doubled. 99%.
Yep. That's the total volume.
From October to October. That is absolutely crazy right there. That's what it was a year ago right there.
Right.
Limestone has been making big moves. Average, well, we went down in a little bit, 272 in September to 269 in October. So it went down a little bit. Year over year, it's still growing. I mean, look at the inventory, though. Boy, when it went from 216 last month to 250 units sold this month, that took a big chunk out of that inventory, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
Wow. But what do you think about limestone right now, Steve?
Well, we get a lot of hiccups in Limestone County.
Yes, we do. I mean, how long have we been doing this now? Almost 2 years?
Yeah, at least.
And we've seen limestone do this the whole time.
That's right. So they sold all their houses. They're down to 2.1 months and on inventory. That usually drives the prices up. But, like you were just talking about, affordability index is going to top out one of these days.
Well, look, limestone's average, if you look at limestone, average sales is, just call it 270 in October. Well, it was 272 in September. And you go up to Madison, I mean, it's not that far off.
Now, they've been close for some time.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking 252 there and 242. You're talking 5% difference there. And it's not like limestone has all the major jobs. So that tells you what's going on, right? Like, people are trying to get out to get a bigger house for less money, more land, get away from the hustle and the bustle.
And lots of jobs coming to Limestone County. Limestone County's been growing.
So talk us through that, Steve. I mean, in Limestone County, I know we were looking at the Toyota plant that's still coming in. What else is Limestone County bringing in right now?
Down there close to that Greenbrier exit, they've built a lot of there's the Polaris plant, the Target distribution plant. They've been there for a while.
Yeah.
But it's continuing to grow, and I'm seeing a lot more retail in Limestone County now.
That's a good sign. If the city's bringing retail in, then that means they're trying to say, hey, look, we're tired of our citizens going over to Huntsville to do all their shopping, right? Like, let's give them more retail here. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, just opened up that brand new Publix over there just on the Madison County side, which I think that's in Huntsville city limits, isn't it?
That I don't know.
It's north side of 72 and just east of County Line Road. And it's huge. I mean, that whole development is just huge.
Wow.
Lots of new jobs coming in over there.
Well, then maybe they're going to be able to hold these numbers then. I mean, that's the sign, right? If you got jobs, you got infrastructure, you got things for people to do, they're going to want to live there. And especially if it's all new, right? Like if it's all new, then people love that. Oh, we have new stuff coming in and it's not run down and ragged. So maybe Limestone is just, I mean, maybe December, January, maybe we'll just keep seeing the trend either stay flat or grow even more. So I'd like to see that. I feel like Limestone has a lot of potential left because there's so much land there still to develop and grow and build off of. And so if they can put the infrastructure in, I just believe that would entice or incentivize more builders and developers to come in there, because now, you have more of a backbone. I watched this happen out in Elk Grove, California. From 2005 to 2008, Elk Grove was just farmland. It was south of San Francisco. It was about 20, 30 minutes south of San Francisco. But there was so much lack of inventory during that time because it was the other boom that happened. That from 2005 to 2008, developers went out into Elk Grove and just built fields of houses. I mean, houses after houses after houses, but they never put an infrastructure in. They never put grocery stores or shopping places or gas stations. It was just this endless sea of houses.
Right.
And what happened was when the bubble popped and the crash came through, prices changed out there, but they never came back. Where a lot of the other areas, they came back. Because there was no, what I realized was you would enter Elk Grove, and let's say you lived in the back, it would take you 10, 15 minutes just to get to your house. And then you had to go to the grocery store. Well, you had to get out of that neighborhood for 10 to 15 minutes, and then you had to drive another 10 minutes just to find a grocery store. So I think that was, I don't think they were looking long-term. I think they were looking immediate need, build some houses, put people in it. So
that's the scariest part of Limestone County in my book, because they're not improving the roads. The roads they're lagging behind. There's a lot of construction. The traffic's getting slower. Even in Madison, Madison's, that's kind of been their Achilles heel for a long time, is the roads.
Yeah.
The traffic in Madison City.
Yeah. I know. I live here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's even to this day, I have clients, wanting to buy houses. Even though I'm trying not to, but they tell me, "Oh, I don't want to live in Madison. I don't want to deal with that traffic." And
it's not good.
No, it's really not. It's and it keeps growing. There's more people moving in there.
Well, that's like there's a main street that goes through my neighborhood. It's called Highland. It takes you from, I forget what it's called, Old Madison Pike or something like that, that runs by our Horizon Elementary to Eastview. So it's a cut across. And we probably have 6, 7 speed bumps, 2 or 3 stop signs. Well, they just came through the other day saying, they're going to repave Highland. We were like, great, because there's so much traffic on that road. And then they came back and said they're going to remove all the speed bumps.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I lived on that road, I'd be going crazy. But they're like, hey, but it's traffic. I'm like, yeah, but these are all houses with people who buy these houses have kids because they go to the school.
Right.
But they're like, yeah, we're going to take all the speed bumps out. I'm like, oh, man. But I get it. They're just saying it's a congestion. The speed bumps slow people down and you can't. But there's a reason that they were originally put there. So
Right.
it's always two sides of the story. Less congestion, but safety. Less congestion, but safety, right? But I think the problem that we're having right now, you look at Hughes Road. I mean, that's been going on now forever. They're trying to widen that road, you know. So, and I don't know if they're actually going to achieve that anytime in the next 6 to 9 months. But, I mean, they're trying. They're buying land up from the residents and widening that road out. So,
Yeah.
but I think the next one in Madison where they got to really focus on, what's this over here? It's called Slaughter.
Yep.
Yeah, they got that one is really bad because that's the only, when you're coming off of 565 into Madison, that's where everybody goes, over the train tracks, and then they cut up into the neighborhoods. That's still 2-lane roads down through there. So, all right. Well, I know people aren't here to hear about me talking about 2-lane roads. So, all right, Limestone. Your census on Limestone is if they work on their infrastructure, keep bringing in the backbone to all the houses that they're going to be building, it's going to keep on rocking.
Mooresville Road is an excellent example of traffic and congestion. And, you know, in the past, I always use Mooresville Road because it was a straight shot from Mooresville, Alabama, down there off of I-565, and it went all the way to, you know, Ardmore, Alabama. And now the traffic's so much worse that eventually, and they're still building houses, boom, 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 boom. But it's going to get to the point where people are like, oh, this is too much traffic. I don't want to have to deal with this. You know, you can't pass anymore because you get somebody slow. But that also that Huntsville Browns Ferry Road in Limestone County, if they would widen this stuff, which I think they're going to plan on doing that.
I think they have to, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they have to. And obviously it wasn't in the 10-year plot map. You know what I mean? They didn't plan it out that way, but I think they just have to. So
now they are widening I-565, which is going to help Decatur.
They're going to widen 565
They've already started
into Decatur.
Well, not all the way. They're widening it to 6 lanes all the way to Interstate 65. That's
okay.
Happening.
I got you. Yep.
And then it's like 3 more miles to get to Decatur.
Yeah. Well, yes, I know. That traffic going from and into Decatur during work hours. Well, I don't know if it's that bad anymore. A lot of people are still working from home, so.
It's still bad. Well, yeah, it is still bad. I mean, I travel pretty frequently, and but once it's 6 lanes, it's going to be much, much better.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And that's happening right now.
Well, since we're talking about Decatur, let's pull down to Morgan County's data. So, not a whole lot of movement at all in Morgan County from last month to this month. Not hardly nothing. 6 houses different sold. Maybe a few hundred thousand difference in volume, maybe $100,000 difference in average sales price. Not even $100 difference. That's not even $100. Well, yeah, it's about what? 40,000 difference. That didn't move hardly at all. Median price went up though. So you get a lot more
bang for the buck indicator,
and that's what it is, right? Like people can get a better deal indicator. And I've noticed a lot of my coaching students, I have noticed, are now over indicator flipping. They don't flip here in Huntsville anymore. And you know the irony to that is I remember these students when we first started, I was like, look, you guys need to branch out a little bit, you know. No, we don't want to go to Decatur. No, we don't know Decatur. We're going to stay here in Huntsville. And now, like every time I see them with a deal, it's indicator.
The last 2 flips I'm doing is indicator.
There you go. So it's like, there it is, Decatur, Decatur, Decatur. It keeps popping up on the index. What I do notice, though, is that Decatur is still taking longer to sell, though, because if you go up here to Madison, you're under 30 days, Limestone's under 30 days, and Morgan is under 60 days. So,
but the inventory has gone down.
yes, majorly gone down. I would think that would create a spike in the pricing, but I mean, 300 houses on the market, that's just not a lot.
No.
I had a student reach out to me the other day. Hey, Zach, we had an agent send us this deal. It was in Decatur. They sent me the numbers. Instantly, I saw it and ran the numbers. Within a couple of minutes, I was like, look, that's a deal. Go back and get a contract on that deal. They said, okay, we'll go check it out. They text me back the next day. It's gone. I said, geez, I'm at the RIA. One of my other coaching students comes up to me and they're like, you won't believe we just got this house in Decatur. I said the address. I said, don't tell me it's this. They're like, yeah, we got that one. I was like, oh. I was like, I know who was trying to get that one.
Yeah.
And here's the irony to it. The coaching students that actually got it for less than what it was listed for. Where the students that were looking at it, I told them what they wanted. It was a good deal at what they had it listed for. So I was shocked that they used their negotiation skills and got it for less. That doesn't happen very often. So
it's unusual. Yeah,
especially right now. I mean, getting these MLS properties for less than what they list for, I'm shocked that they did that. So
yeah.
But they knew the agent. They've already done a few over there, and it was another one of those little houses that's kind of in the historic kind of area. Got that little historic feel, and so they're excited about doing it. So Morgan County, Steve, what's the outlook on Morgan County?
I still see the median price being a factor. You know, it's what? It's $60,000 less in the case. For the same house, and that's contributing factor. Plus, with the infrastructure that they're developing, if they were to upgrade that road, that stretch between 65 to the River Bridge.
Oh, the hook around.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it'd be a solid, surefire thing. And,
well, they're opening that bottleneck. More flow, more traffic, more people.
Right.
Yeah, because somebody living in Decatur that's got to come to Huntsville to work on the base or downtown or wherever, the hospital, they're thinking, man, I got to get up an extra hour earlier, you know, and I've got to be away from my family another 2 hours a day. That's 10 hours a week. That's 40 hours a month. You know, if you add that up, that's 580 hours a year. I'm going to be either getting ready or fighting traffic, not be at home. So...
Well, that's true now with the 4-lane road. And, you know, the traffic's gotten really, really bad in the last 10 years. But now they're widening it. And like back when I lived in Decatur, which was 19 years ago, I lived in an old part of town, that historic neighborhood, and I could be in my office at NASA in 22 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Which is faster than people in Huntsville can get to their office.
Yeah, but there was nobody living in Decatur then.
Well, yeah, because I'd go 3
We're talking
blocks,
2 decades ago, Steve.
I'd be on the interstate in 3 blocks, and I'd just, boom, go.
Yeah. Mm. Well, you know, I mean, Decatur has this thing, and it's the river.
Yep.
The river is always going to create that bottleneck coming into it.
Yep.
Look, since I've moved back home, which was almost 12 years ago now, I have said since day one, Decatur could be a phenomenal city with that river, and if they could maximize that and really do more stuff around that river environment and build that area up, you know, have like river walks and restaurants. I was like, man, but why? They have never came in and done anything like that. I don't know if there's restrictions or maybe just developers just look at it and say, look, you just don't have enough population, or, it's not as easy to get people over here. I mean, there's obviously all kinds of reasons, but
it's just the most harmful thing in Decatur is skepticism. People have tried stuff and failed. And I just, the risks are getting smaller. So once you figure out that, that's not going to happen now, then yeah, it could be very profitable.
I agree. Kind of catch the wave, right? Kind of catch the front end of the new opportunists that happen. Also, I think there's a big push too over this last year with the new city councils and everything that's been going on over there. They've gotten more friendlier to new businesses and development and builders, and where for years, I mean, they just weren't playing that very well with the growth mindset over there. So.
Right. Yeah, they hit 60,000 in the 2000 census. And since then, they've dropped down a little bit. So it's shrunk.
The population?
Yeah. Decatur. Now, I don't know what it is right now. I haven't heard the census from this year. But it hit 60,000 residents in 2000.
2000.
Right.
Okay. And you're saying it's less now than it was in 2000?
I don't know what it is now, but in 2010 it dropped down to like 56,000.
I could believe that. Because if you go back and look, I remember from 2005 to 2010, boy, Decatur you didn't want to go over there.
Yeah, it was anti-business. I mean, they were not business friendly, and it took forever to build anything. It was challenging, very challenging.
Yeah. I mean, I ended up buying 2 small apartments over there, and one of them I basically had to remodel the whole thing. Air conditioners, tanks, everything. And man, that was a nightmare dealing with the city on that. And I just, when I finished, I just sold them to a California buyer and took my money and left, and kept the other one because it was more townhouse structure, and it's a great investment. I just won't sell it. So, I mean, it's an 8-unit basically. It brings in over $4,000 a month.
Woo, sweet.
Yeah, and I only paid $160 for it.
With the repairs?
I didn't have repairs. They already had tenants.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone and done some stuff since then. Like, I fixed an AC unit, I fixed a door, I fixed this, I did a little new driveway in it, but I've had it now for over a year. So, yeah, I mean, it was just a good deal. Look, when I bought that deal, I'll never forget this. The owner who sold it to me, when I signed the paperwork, he got up and shook my hand and said, "Thank you." And I thought, oh boy, I'm gonna have a hard time turning this one around. And we did have to turn it around. I mean, we had some bad tenants in there. We had to get them out. But yeah, it's humming along now, man. It's humming along. So.
Yeah, I'm big on Decatur. I think that with the bang for the buck and the people's expectations are still low.
Yeah.
And you can still negotiate a good deal. And with these growing numbers, even though, see that the average sale price has gone up, not a lot, but it's going up.
Yep.
And with the infrastructure improvement, the highway, and better bang for the buck, I just see that that's probably a potential awesome investment.
I think you're right. I think you hit it on the nail there when you said the expectation of the sellers, right? Because Decatur still has kind of this the stigma around it, right? That people aren't sure, they don't know, what's going on. Or the other part about it is it's not very eye appealing when you come right into Decatur, right? It's like, oh, what's all this? Like, oh, what's that? Oh, what's this big industrial over here? And then if you make that turn and then you turn left, you're like, whoa, what's this neighborhood? You know? So, you know, they do have, you know, that, and that's part of it. You know, a lot of people like the whole, I want to look like the Joneses. I want the nice area. And that's a little bit farther out in Decatur. You got to get around the outside of Decatur to get to that.
You do.
Yeah, I think people, I think you're right there. I do. I really do. Because I see some of the prices and I'm like, golly, like, that's crazy.
I was kept wondering, when is the historic districts going to go up? And in the past, they were stagnant. I mean, you could get a really nice 2,000 square foot old house for $120,000. I mean, dang.
Yeah.
And now, you know, over in Huntsville, boy, they go for like $100 and $200 a square foot.
$250.
Yeah. And
yeah.
It's just a matter of time. And because like I was telling you, I had a house in the corner of Oak and Walnut. It was a small house, and we lived there 26 years. And I could be in my office at NASA in 20 minutes, 22 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you know, the saying goes, don't buy, or what does it say? Buy real estate and hold it, right? That's where the real money's made. Buy real estate and hold it. But the question is how long do you got to hold it? Right?
Yeah, land banking is, I think that might be, it has great potential if you don't need the money and you can just
yeah, but you're holding it for a while, man, waiting on all the other developers to come your way. So that's like one on Pratt Street. We did one on Pratt Street, and I'll never forget when we sold it. I always kicked myself on this because I remember thinking, and this is what I did with Scott, I was like, man, we should just rent this thing out for a couple of years and then see what we're going to do. And we ended up selling it for about $195.
Uh-huh. And
I pulled a comp on it the other day because I noticed that it went back on the market, $280 something.
Uh-huh.
That's $100,000 that property went up in value over a matter of 3 years. And that goes back to the hold thing, right? Like hold. Like I made most of my wealth. If I really go back and track how I became, you know, got wealthy, let's just say it like that. It was from the time in the era of 2009 all the way to 2014. Mm-hmm. That period, that what is that? That 5-year period, 6-year period, really. I was just buying everything and I was just sticking renters in them. And I was just renting them and holding them. And then they just kept going up. And then, you know, I mean, just recently we sold about a third of our portfolio. I mean, we cashed out $1 million in that thing, you know, because of what had happened. And so
2009 prices were in the low part. I mean, it was such a bargain.
Yeah, yeah. And here's what people keep saying, was that coming back around? Look, I don't ever believe that 35810 is ever going to get back down into $20,000 houses. I just don't believe that. I think it will correct, and it'll probably be the one area that gets hit the hardest. I honestly do believe that because of, you know, I go look up there now and see houses selling for 140, 150. I'm just mind blown. I do think that area will correct. I think if we do go through a correction, we'll probably see 15% overall, you know, but we're not going to get hit like other markets. I don't believe that, but you know, I just don't.
Okay.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. You froze there.
Was I like a robot?
No, you weren't moving. It was completely still.
Look, Steve, so let's just run back through and we'll let everybody off of this video. So we've got Madison County. Obviously, there's a few things happening in Madison County we need to be worried about. Well, not worried, but we need to be cautious to keep our eyes on it for the next couple of months, which is sold quantity. That keeps going down. We need to be kind of checking that out. Also, medium sales price. If sold units are getting less, medium sales price is dropping, and inventory is going up, then we got a red flag we need to stick in the ground.
Well, also pay attention to the material cost, because you know that the material cost really climbed in the last 3 months a lot.
Yes.
And that's going to slow down the sales, in my opinion, because
It has.
Yeah.
I have contractors, friends of mine, that are like, hey, look, half of my contracts got canceled because homeowners didn't want to pay the new lumber pricing.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
wondering when that was going to hit, and there you are.
Yeah, it's already happening. Like that's what they're like. Look, I got homeowners pulling out because they do like custom home builds, things like that. They're like, yeah, I got homeowners pulling out because of the price increase in lumber. So, yep. So that would definitely slow down new builds. What it also does is it moves somebody who's accustomed to building a 2,200 square foot home down to an 1,800 square foot home. Just try to stay within that same price range, even though materials price has gone up. So you might see that coming too, right? You know, smaller home for the same price. So it increases square foot price. But that is where we get in trouble. That is where we get in trouble in a real estate market. If you go back and look at any trends in the past, it was when builders kept forcing the square foot price to stay high, but were building smaller houses. They created a domino effect from that. I was reading this book. It was called, let's see. It is Land Development, second edition. And inside there, they were specifically talking about that. They were talking about how builders, when cost of goods would go up, they would just downsize the square footage but keep the price high, which was a false inflation of what the property should be sold at. And they were talking inside of here about how this is where a lot of those builders got hurt, because now they have this asset that they're trying to sell for 180 a square foot when it's really only worth 140. And the other builders that came in staying within that means of what their square foot price should be didn't get hit as hard. So.
Yeah.
All right, so Madison, we're good. So limestone, I think limestone's the area to focus on right now. What do you think?
Well, it's certainly growing. I mean, if they were to improve the infrastructure, I'd be just totally gung-ho.
Gung-ho about it.
Yeah, but the scary part to me is that infrastructure, and the traffic's getting worse and worse. It takes forever to drive through Athens.
Same thing that's happened in anywhere that we've seen massive growth.
Mm-hmm.
Which limestone, obviously, you look here at their volume sold. I mean, they hit a massive growth over the last year. Massive growth
for the last 4 years.
The last 4 years, that's right. That's right. And then Morgan County, same thing, right? It's just the cost to acquire is just so much lower. You just got to be willing to ride the storm to get it sold.
Right.
Which isn't always true. I mean, some of them sell fast, you know.
48 days is, I can handle 48 days. I mean, you know, come on. Used to be 150, right?
Yes. I remember seeing that. It was like 140 something, or it was something crazy out there. I was like, whoa. But also, no, that's the average. So some are selling less than that, and some are taking longer than that to sell. So when you see that ADOM, I call it average days on market. I think you guys call it cumulative days on market.
No, it's called average days on market.
Okay, there you
go.
go.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I think it is average. Yeah, it's average days on market.
Okay. Well, same thing I call it then. So that's the average. So just know that some take longer, some sell faster. I mean, you know, I've had some that sell within 1 day, and I've had some that have taken 4 months to sell. So, but that's the name of the game, you know. I mean, that's why we get educated. That's why we, you know, it's so funny. I had an uncle the other day that I hadn't talked to him forever, and he calls me up and we're talking, and he's like, man, he's like, what is it that you really do? I'm like, well, I mean, honestly, Uncle Randy, I'm in risk management. That's what I'm in. He's like, risk management. I'm like, yeah, I'm in risk management. I'm always measuring the amount of risk that I have when I'm going into any business, real estate, or anything. I don't lose money. And that's what all this is for. That's why we do this. This is managing risk. This is getting a clear identity of where we are in the market and where we could be going. We obviously don't have a crystal ball, but it gives us a better insight on it. So, well, cool. I hope everybody enjoyed that.
Oh, sure. What do you call it? The 2.1 to 2.3. What was it? Hang on.
Which one? Which one?
The inventory. The inventory.
Which market?
In Morgan County.
Morgan County was 2.4 in September and 2.2 in October.
That's what's dropped. That's the biggest drop on this sheet.
That is the biggest drop. Yeah. Well, no. Limestone had a bigger drop. Limestone went from 2.4 to 2.1.
Oh, yeah, on this particular sheet, yes. But I mean, like, when you look at the last 4 months, Decatur was above 3%.
Yes. No, you're right. Decatur actually was the one that was the slowest. It was like 5 months, 4.7, 4.3. Then it dropped to 3.8, and then it went back up to 4.2. Then it came down to 3.6, and then it has been a very slow pull to get it down to where these other counties are at. So
2.2.
Yeah.
2.2.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't even think about that because it's always been higher in inventory than the other counties, but now it is right there with the rest of them. So that's a very good point, Steve. I didn't even think about
that.
It sure does. Well, guys, look, I hope you got a lot of value out of this. My name is ZACK. I'm the president of the Madison County Real Estate Investor Association, and we're happy to have Mr. Steve PAYNE on here with us. He is a legend in this space with all he does and all he knows. This is the guy I lean on when I need to know somebody. Hey, look, we'd love to have you back out at the RIA. If you get a chance, check out our website. Lots of more training in here for you guys to check out. And check out our meetup page, meetup.com/AL RIA. And it's meetup.com/AL RIA. And you can see all of our events that are coming up. And find one that you like and come out and check us out. We appreciate it. Steve, thanks for being here with me again today, my friend.
My pleasure.
And it's always fun doing these things. So cool.
It is.
See you guys.